Hey everyone, it's Matt aka Tech Ranger, and today we are going to be taking a look at my latest load order for Fallout 4 after the next gen update, and it's kind of a work in progress, but I do want to show everybody what my list is currently like. It's a variation of the one that I made about a year ago. I just figured since people were still having trouble with mods and installing mods after the update and everything, I wanted to start from something I had and then just build off of that one. So the way these load order videos work, if you're new here, is I do like 3 showcase mods, as in like 3 newer mods to my list, and then I'll go over those, and then at the end of the video we'll have the full list. But in this one I'm going to talk a little bit about how the list is performing after this update. Now keep in mind this is my list and everything works out well for me, but it might not for you, so install mods at your own risk and read mod descriptions if you're not sure what something does. Leave a comment if you have any questions, but for right now let's take a look at my load order for Fallout 4 on the Xbox after the update. So sometimes when I make a video on YouTube about a certain mod or mods, there's another one that comes along that might be even better, and this one is one of those. Interiors Enhanced 2.0 is a lightweight lighting mod, not to be confused with lightweight lighting, that'll take the initial look of the game, how the interiors were, take away some of the extra brightness that you saw in some interiors, and add a little bit of a realistic flair to the lighting. I was actually using Fi Light and Fi Dark for my lighting video that I made, but I found this one, and I think I'm just going to roll with this one for a little bit. That clip at the beginning of the video, that was actually with this mod active, and those interiors looked really good. It's dark where it should be, and then when there's lights, they seem to act more natural. So what this mod won't do is significantly change the lighting. It's still the vanilla lighting you know, so it's not going to be as drastic of a change as something like Enhanced Lights and FX, which actually seems to be a little bit more framey since the update. As far as placement goes, I just put this one at the bottom of my list. I also didn't notice any frame drops when I was in interiors like I would with something like Enhanced Lights and FX, so let me know what your thoughts are on this one in the comments down below. But with that, let's take a look at one of the mods I'm using to replace one of the weapon categories in this game.
Hancock, you keep letting outsiders walk all over us. One day.
So on this playthrough I wanted to focus on changing parts of the game, but not necessarily changing the vanilla experience, but something like pipe weapons I was never really a big fan of. And this mod changes that. So the post-apocalyptic homemade weapons replacer changes all the pipe weapons in the game, and they look a little bit more like actual things that people might use in the wasteland rather than like these little boxy things. Pair this with a mod that changes the weapon sounds in the game like this one, and these sound pretty cool. So if you're starting a new game, this might be something you might want to look at just because you're going to be using a lot of these pipe weapons. I haven't messed too much with weapon replacers before, but I think this is one that just fits in pretty seamlessly with the game. So I'm curious to know your thoughts. Now if you look closely at the muzzle here, you might notice something a little bit different. Look at the gas around the muzzle. And when you shoot at stuff, there's sparks. That's what this next mod is. It's all about adding believable effects to the weapons when you actually fire them in game. And that mod is called Spitfire. And I think this mod is sure to have an impact on your gameplay, no pun intended. So when you fire your weapon with different types of muzzles, and then when it hits, it looks a bit more believable. This is also translated to any of the laser weapons in the game. So example, this Institute pistol here looks really cool when you fire it and it actually hits something. The other really cool thing is the smoke patterns when you're actually firing your weapon and how the smoke actually travels. It actually travels in the direction of the wind. And this might be better showcased with something bigger like a shotgun, because you can see all the smoke and you can see it moving. It makes the game just that much more immersive. Now this mod does require the Nuka World and Far Harbor DLC, and it probably goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. You can't use it with any other mod that modifies tracers and bullets like the Hollywood tracers and the Hollywood lasers that I used to use. So in this last session, I'm going to show my whole list as I go through it in game, but keep in mind there is that spreadsheet in the description, which will be a live look at my list, because I'll probably end up moving some things around. So if you need to pause or stop anything or mute me whenever you come back and rewatch this, feel free. I just wanted to go over how this list is performing and go over some of the dependencies that some of these mods have. For example, whenever you use an animation mod, as we looked at in our previous video about animations, you do want this in-game third-person camera configuration. I kept all the user interface and animation mods at the top, and then I have like HUD framework and then the immersive HUD underneath that. I was using some character or faction replacers here. Now with this new update, it seems like this stuff is actually causing some more frame drops than normal. So in Boston specifically, there's some frame drops. These guys are usually spawning in, or whenever you encounter, let's say, the Minutemen or the Diamond City Security when you're in Diamond City, that may cause some frame drops here and there, in addition to the current issues in Boston. It can dip a lot in certain parts of Boston, but whenever you turn a certain way, it's like it clears up. So I think that's probably because things are spawning in. Or at least that seems to be what the consensus is on the Fallout Reddit and the Bethesda Discord. Some of these weapon replacers or things that add weapons are actually requiring the attachment pack, so keep that in mind for like the Fallout 4 New Vegas revolver. I tried to load these in a way that maybe wouldn't conflict with anything that might modify the same things. I tried to keep the general placement of how I had things in the last load order here, and I haven't had any crash on this new character that I made, but the only crash I did have was actually on the original Jason Statham character, who has had hundreds of hours put in on that character. But aside from the issues that I mentioned earlier in this section, everything seems pretty good. One last thing I want to mention is this next gen high settings mod. If you're using the Series X or Series S, this mod actually lowers the shadows just a little bit, and it seems to help in some of the areas. Might be worth checking out if you own one of these consoles and you're still having a lot of issues. And that was my current list. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. It's not super different than my last one that I made, but I did want to start small since there's still some issues with the next gen update. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any questions or what you think about this one, or maybe some suggestions that I might need to try in the future. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.